Why, good evening, YouTube, and let me offer you a cordial what the crap is going on. Let's get things started with another Napoleon commentary. This is another battle that I actually played a couple of days ago when I was sick, but I'm just commentating it for you now. This is not like the battle to end all when it comes to cool, amazing players of Napoleon. This is definitely a battle between several amateurs, but it is pretty fun. And I enjoyed it, and I had a good time playing with my teammate, Ricky, as you can see there, and then you can see the names of our opponents. Everybody had a good time, it seemed like, and I do think that even though this isn't like demonstration of like what would be like a championship game from a Napoleon tournament by any means, it is a good demonstration of some basic tactics that will cross over into multiple Total War games, obviously more specifically to Napoleon Total War, since that's what I'm playing. Let's get things started. So I am playing as France. So yes, Patchy will command the French forces today. And let me start off by also clarifying a few things. So, like I noticed in my last video, like a bunch of people got like all mad when I was saying stuff about Portugal being a crap faction. I'm not talking about Portugal in real life. I'm talking about Portugal in the game. I don't have any problem with Portugal in real life. So yes, I was talking about Portugal in the game. Like, they don't have very many units to choose from. And so on a Total War game, when I think one of the factions is not very good, I dub it a crap faction. So that's the reason why I came up with that word. It doesn't have anything to do with the country in real life. So I noticed that some people got pretty offended right away. I'm just, you know, it doesn't have anything to do with history or real life or anything whatsoever except for the game. So let me show you some of the units I have. I have a Chasseur à Cheval right here. And then I have a Dutch Guard Lancer unit, and then I also have a Polish Guard Lancer on the other flank. I've got 4 units of Chasseur, and I've got 2 units of 6-inch howitzers. And I want to say I have, I think 6 units of Fusilier of the line, and then I have this 1 unit right here. Or no, wait, this is the light infantry. This is the 6th Regiment d'Infanterie Légère. Which this is like a special light infantry unit. It's just got a little bit better stats than the Chasseur. And then the other one, the special infantry unit I brought, isn't like a guard unit or anything. I'm trying to find it. It's around here somewhere. Right here. It's this unit right here. They're kind of cool looking. It's the 18th Regiment, also known as the Brave. So yeah, they're pretty cool because they're brave. And then my commander, let's see if I've set him up. I'm about to set him. My commander's right here. It is Marshal Ney, which I believe is supposed to be this guy here. But we're going to call him Patchy, because whenever I command an army, Patchy is the commander. My teammate is playing as Prussia. He's got some cool troops. He's got this 7-pounder howitzer, I think 2 units of cuirassier. He's got, I want to say 2 units of foot guards, not foot's guard. And then he's got a bunch of musketeers and Prussian fusilier, and he does have this one, no, make it 2 units. Of Silesian Schützen. These guys are a rifle unit, so they got 125 range. They have some good stats, but just like all the other rifle units in this game, their kills are always depressing. And yeah, so the Galacian Ria, or the Galacian Diarrhea, if you will. I'm just kidding. It's not a bad map. I'm playing against a Spaniard opponent, and I didn't even think that he might be playing some of the guerrilla troops. And so I just started off by running to go take this hill because I figured that would be the best bet. And yeah, so here's my troops running. But you can actually see a guerrilla attack coming from behind that my opponent told me about at the last second. Not my opponent, my teammate. He warned me. He's like, hey, watch out behind you. So there is a guerrilla lancer attack coming from behind me of about 3 units. I'm turning my men to face, and I'm going to try and get a volley off. At this point, I should have formed a square, but I didn't want to because I was worried about the cav getting through to my 6-pounder howitzers, because I knew that's what his cav was after. He wants to take out my artillery so that his artillery will have free reign over the battlefield. So I'm going to zoom out because it's lagging for some stupid reason. Okay, I pushed the stop recording, then like start recording again, so it seemed to fix it. At least I thought it did. It just went into lag again. Come on! It never used to do this. It doesn't even play Shogun 2. That's annoying. Anyway, so he did get a hold of this 6-inch howitzer right there and managed to rout them. And I'm also going to take quite a few losses because I did not form square. But all of these guerrilla lancers are pretty weak units. They're not going to last all that long. This one was actually the Cazador, mounted Cazadors, so they actually probably took some shots on me. So I brought my cav back down off the hill. that I captured. I'm going to hit this Lancer Cav from behind. I want to drive it out as quick as possible because even though it's just Lancer Cav, it's going to cause quite a bit of damage to my line infantry. I don't lose any units though. So that was the initial part of that defense. But what you didn't see was that my Dutch Guard Lancers and Polish Guard Lancers also killed this other guerrilla unit. So the Spaniard has like all the guerrilla units so far in the battlefield. This was a light infantry guerrilla unit that I destroyed right there. And you'll see that my opponent is over here setting stakes with a Tiradores de Cantabria. Yeah, I'll give you some of my crappy Spanish just because it's fun. I'm sure that if I have any like Spanish-speaking listeners that you find it entertaining. But to be honest, I have a better chance of pronouncing a Spanish word closer to correct than I do about any other language, because Spanish is really the only other language that I hear on a frequent basis. So here these guys are actually pretty darn good unit, really good as far as the stats go. They don't have a lot of men, and again, since they're rifles, and to be honest, they don't really have the best position right here. You can see that they don't really have the best line of sight. But he did set the stakes, and I don't recall whether or not my opponent and I saw that. So we might actually lose some horses to it. So yeah, I'm just moving up here to capture this hill. I do already have all my light infantry up here supported by some of my cav. The reason I went ahead and ran my light infantry that far ahead of my others is because I saw that my opponent's cavalry really didn't have a chance to get through mine. He's got this one unit right here of Cuiraceros Españoles, which is like a heavy cavalry unit. It's like a cuirassier unit. It's cheaper than a cuirassier though, and so it's kind of a cool unit to have as Spain, because if you ever get these guys into an infantry unit that isn't in square, they will mess it up bad. But I don't like heavy cavalry on Napoleon too much just because it's really slow. Then my opponent brought, like, for his main infantry, he brought like 6 units of grenadiers. Really weird. And his only long range is these 3 6-pounder horse artillery, and he's just got a general staff. So my opponent directly away from me lost like all of his, yeah, look, my teammate and I managed to run through the stakes. That's pretty smart. Losing 15 horses like that was pretty intelligent. And then my opponent only, my teammate only lost 5, but I lost like 15 horses on the stakes. That was brilliant. Oh man, I'm an idiot. Kudos to my opponent though for tricking me into killing my own men. So yeah, he's got 6 grenadiers and 2 Walloon guards. Now these Walloon guards are some good troops. They're not like the best guards in the game, but they're pretty darn good. And as far as Spain goes, they're one of the better units that Spain offers. And don't get me wrong, his grenadiers, like, they're a tough unit in melee or up close, but the thing with the grenadiers, there's only 90 of them, and they cost just about as much as a line unit, which means that my units have, you know, basically 25% more men, or I guess if you're looking at it from that other way, 33% more men than his. So yeah, he's going to retreat up onto this hill because he realizes that I have a big ranged advantage and his cannons weren't hitting anything. So he's going to retreat up here to try and get better shots at my men who are up on the hill, but I'm pretty much not really within like too great a range, and he's not going to get a whole lot done. I don't know why I have that unit in light infantry doctrine. The rest of them are just kind of standing around. That's right, man. Be brave. Patchy will order you to die at some point this day, and all of you must be prepared to answer the call to die for Patchy. Just like this man right here. You see him? He was proud to die for Patchy, and that's why he ended up in this very, very undignified lump on the ground, but he is proud to have died for Patchy, and his family will be glad to know that he did so. So prepare yourselves, men, prepare yourselves, for it is an honor to die for the one known as Patchy. I love inspiring my men. Let's go take a look at that. I'm clowning around because this battle's kind of long, and eventually I'll fast forward part of it, but I'm trying to have some fun here. I figure y'all might enjoy this. I don't get to make videos all that often, so you might have fun with this. So, my Prussian teammate, his direct opponent, is playing as the British. So you've seen my direct opponent, and you've seen my army and his army. This is the last army we have to view. I believe he's got 4 units of dragoons. I don't really like the British cavalry in this game, other than they're like super heavy cav. Obviously it's very good, but I don't, like I said, heavy cav's not my favorite thing on this game, but if you ever do get them into melee with infantry, they will absolutely shred it if it doesn't get in a square. So I understand that it's useful, but it's definitely not my favorite thing, because heavy cav, of course, can get charged by Lancer cav and get really beat up by a much cheaper cav unit. So when it comes to like anti-cavalry tactics, heavy cav is really best, not necessarily on the charge, but it's better after the fight, you know, starts to grind out. And Dragoons wouldn't be bad at that, but they're not that great either. But like I said, I don't like a lot of the British Cav. I do like the, they have like one Hussar unit, it's like a special unit. I like that unit. And I like the Royal Scots Greys. That's a cool unit. There's a lot of cool Cav units in this game, come to think of it. Like Grenadiers au Cheval are awesome. I never use them hardly. And then also the French Carabiners. I'm probably saying it wrong, but man, those guys are pretty cool looking too. But I also rarely use them. There's definitely some cool Cav units in this game though. Alright, so he's got a King's German Legion foot. 1 foot, so that makes 2 units of line infantry. He's gonna make it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units of foot, but he has not brought any light foot, so his only ranged element, albeit his only ranged element, but there's plenty of them, is 4 units of 5-inch howitzers, so the British player is going to have a significant artillery barrage going when he gets started. And on the Galacian Ria, error, your old joke, it's already lame. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Oh, there is one more Spanish. Check this out. This guy's just came out of hiding. Voluntarios de Coruña. And they are apparently being shelled by my Prussian teammate. But they haven't taken any hits yet, fortunately for them. So yeah, there was a lot of Spanish units that were hidden. Anyway, I'm making a rush on. Well, I'm not really rushing yet, but I will be soon. I don't want to like get these guys too tired. But I'm taking all my light infantry forward, and once again, I'm doing this because I'm willing to cover them with my cav. I'm keeping it close enough that if my opponent starts to charge forward, but I have so many light infantry coming forward that even if he does charge with cav, I can just shoot them down. He doesn't really have enough cav to be dangerous. And the British player was so far over here that I wasn't worried about it either. Now, let's start talking tactics at this point. I've had some fun getting things going. Let's start talking tactics. So, Air came with a balanced army. Well, actually, it's probably kind of heavy on light infantry, to be honest. I've got 5 lights and 2 artillery, so I'm kind of heavy on long range, and my line infantry is just kind of very standard. So that was my tactic. My teammate is probably a little more well-balanced than I am, I think, because he's got some foot guards. Like, his line's a little stronger, a little more well-balanced than mine. He's also got, and he's only brought 1, I think, artillery unit. I brought 2. The British players focused heavily on artillery, and the Spanish players focused heavily on artillery. They're using that as their main ranged component, which can work, kind of. If you're going to do it, though, I would recommend having, like, you know, some meat shields of militia. And then the other problem is, too, is, like, horse artillery can be very deadly with shrapnel shot if you can get it close enough to enemy infantry, but that's kind of the trick, is getting it close enough to enemy infantry. So, I don't really recommend what they're doing, and I also don't recommend what my opponent's done here. Round shot artillery on the Galacian Ria is a bad idea, just because you're rarely going to get any good shots with it. Now, round shot artillery on, like, 1 unit on this map, shooting at, like, cavalry or something could be useful, or a general. Look how fast these guys fire. Now, some of you got mad at me in my last video, too, because I was ragging on artillery in Napoleon and how it's, like, overpowered. And I understand that artillery was, like, a major factor in warfare during this period. Like, so don't get me wrong, but these guys fire really, really fast. And the other issue I have with it, too, is that they have unlimited ammunition. They shouldn't have unlimited ammunition. There should be a limit on the ammunition for your artillery. That's another thing that I didn't like about Napoleon or Empire. But other than that, I mean, it's really not that bad. The bark of this Spanish artillery is way worse than its bite, so it's not that bad. So I'm pushing up my light infantry, and I just pot-shotted a bunch of these Walloon guards. I think I got about 20 of them, all in all, like close to 20. So my light infantry is kind of through these woods, taking shots. And I'm just going to keep pushing my light infantry and take advantage of the fact that my opponent's range isn't going to be able to help him. So what my opponent should be doing is kind of like backing up to where my guys have to come within range of the shrapnel shot of these things. But instead, he's kind of pushing forward on me, which is just going to give me the opportunity to mow down a whole lot of his grenadiers. And like I said, you can see all that artillery going off, and it looks like it's probably really damaging me, but it's not. It's really not doing anything. So yeah, the round shot artillery is just not super effective against light infantry units. It's okay against line and cav if it has a good angle, but getting a good angle can be tricky. So again, it looks cool, but it's just not going to be causing a lot of damage. And I do like the effects on Napoleon Total War. So let me get back to that too. So clarify a few statements. I don't like Napoleon Total War in general, just because it's mainly just because of the fire at rank thing. Like, I liked Empire Total War in that the battles were like the shooting didn't take place quite so fast, and so I thought there was a little more opportunity for kind of some fun strategy. Now, Napoleon does have good strategy, don't get me wrong, it's a fun game, I like it. I'm not trying to say that it's dog crap or something, but it definitely had some things that made me mad, and I also hated how it didn't use, like, fire by rank and stuff like that, too, that would have made it a lot more epic. But the effects were very good. I mean, like, look at all the artillery effects and the smoke effects here. This is really cool. I mean, it's got an epic look to it, for sure. And, like, if you zoom up on it and stuff, it's definitely cool looking. So, it's definitely got some good effects. And so, I mean, I'll definitely give CA credit for having done a good job on that. So, like, they took that and improved on it from Empire, and I thought that was really good. Now, it definitely needs some blood effects, too, like Shogun 2 has. Now, you know, maybe not quite so anime-type effects, but don't get me wrong, I love the effects in Shogun 2. They're kind of cheesy, but they're also hilarious, and it just makes the game wonderfully entertaining to me. So, yeah, I think some blood effects would be nice for Napoleon. You can see that his grenadiers really didn't get a whole lot of kills or good shots, and I've messed up these grenadiers pretty badly. So that's the initial skirmish. You might be saying, what in the world is going on between the Prussian and the British guy? Not much, but there's about to be an artillery barrage between the two of them, if it's not already going on. So here we go. Let's watch some of these opening barrages. Wow, pretty epic. That just ruined that 7-pounder unit that my teammate was using. My artillery unit is just getting into position. I'll probably unlimber it here in a little bit. I don't use it a whole lot. It was kind of a waste of money, to be honest. I should have brought less artillery. Just because artillery is not really all that helpful, unless you use it right. If you use it right, it's very helpful. But a lot of people aren't that good at using it right. But when someone does know how to use it right, it can be quite a nuisance. So I did like a suicidal cav charge just to silence some of his artillery for a moment.
Our men are running, sir.
My Polish Guard Lancer got hit by a stray cannonball that bounced off of the hill and ended up killing most of them. So I just took what was left of it and sacrificed it to get a few kills on his artillery just to slow it down and kind of distract him. And so my opponent's getting sick of his grenadiers and Walloon guards just getting shot to crap. So he's going to pull back towards the hill. My Prussian teammate sent these forces over here to reinforce. And initially they're going to cause quite a lot of damage. But in a moment, the Spaniard here is going to switch his cannons over to shrapnel shot. And my Prussian teammate here is going to get raked with shrapnel shot. And he's going to suffer some cav charges from the Spanish... what is this, Coraceros Españoles. So you can see them coming around now, and like I said, those guys are heavy cav, and if you don't form a square right, they will cause you some serious trouble. But at this point, even if he does form a square, all these grenadiers are going to be able to open fire on him while he's in square, which is very bad. So let's watch this cav charge and see what happens. But here comes the Spanish heavy cav. My teammate does indeed form a square. Check that out, that cannonball just killed a whole bunch of his own cav. Wow, they just nailed a bunch of his own cav. That was pretty epic, but it also killed a whole bunch of these guys in square. And look at that, look at the grenadiers are doing to these guys. They're just absolutely mowing them down. So that cav charge, even though it was damaging to both players, the Prussian doesn't have enough men over here to be doing that. But you can see him reinforcing, and then my light infantry is just over here tearing these grenadiers a new one. Oh, these are the Walloon guards. Now these guys are going to be putting down some pretty accurate fire in return, but my guys are going to do pretty darn well because they're in light infantry doctrine, and in this kind of range fight they'll do pretty darn good. But the Walloon Guards are probably just as accurate as my light infantry. Yeah, there comes the shrapnel shot at this point, too. So this unit of Prussian infantry routes. This one's in square, getting hit by shrapnel shot and grenadier fire. So my teammate definitely got hit hard by the Spaniard. And look at that shrapnel shot coming in. Yep, there's some more shrapnel shot. So the Prussian's going to eat it pretty hard right here. But he's you know what? He's a good teammate. He sent this over here to support me because right now earlier I said I was going to start talking tactics more, and I will. I just want to give you some eye candy to look at during the main battle here because I thought this was kind of cool. But I'll describe what happens afterwards whenever we're repositioning. And I said I would fast forward part of this battle. I'm sure I will, but it is going to be very long. But sometimes it's kind of enjoyable for you all to see all this. And some of this shrapnel shot's pretty effective, and some of it's not. It just really depends. But you definitely want to be too close to it. But you can see, again, down this line right here, my light infantry doing what they do best. Try and give you some more epic eye candy. I tell you what, Napoleon Total War is good for that. It really is. Shogun 2 and Napoleon have some great effects. And, yeah. So there you go. I'm pushing the Spaniard back, and the Walloon Guards are copping it pretty hard. And the artillery over here is taking it pretty hard, too. Yeah, so there we go. We took out one of the 6-pounder horse artillery. He's only got one left, or two left at this point. This one's badly damaged, and then he's going to probably escape with this one if I remember right. The Walloon Guards are going to have to retreat or die because they're getting killed. I brought 3 units of line infantry to face off with them, plus they've already taken fire from my lights. So the Walloon Guards are going to retreat at this point. In fact, the Spaniard is mostly in her full retreat. He's trying to finish off this last unit of Prussian line infantry that's over here. But I've repositioned my light infantry to start taking shots at them again. And these grenadiers have just been getting harassed by my light infantry non-stop. Light infantry is definitely a force to be reckoned with on Napoleon. Now that shrapnel shot you saw there is actually out of range, so that's why it flew over the heads of my men. So fortunately for me, it's out of range. I wonder what this cannon's doing down here. That's pretty cool. I wish my guys could use that. Look, check out this glitch. Whenever someone starts to limber their artillery, you can't actually kill them. And so I should have actually bum rushed these guys in melee, but I actually let my infantry stop and open fire, and I'll show you what happens, because he starts to limber his artillery to try and help it escape. And whenever you fire on a limbered horse artillery, it like won't kill any of the people in the unit. It's definitely kind of weird. So check it out. He starts to limber the artillery here. Yeah, so just watch this. I think this is funny. So look, my guys open fire, but since it's technically limbered, he's not taking any losses. Well, I think he did take one more loss. But once they get on their horses, they're pretty much like indestructible. It's pretty hilarious. So like they're taking fire from like 2 units, and it's not doing anything. Pretty funny. Alright, so let's talk strategy. Definitely talk strategy. So why did my Prussian teammate come over here to help me hit the Spaniard? Well, in Napoleon Total War and pretty much every other Total War game, when it comes to a 2v2, what is always bad is whenever two teammates don't support each other close enough. So if you don't support each other, here, let's watch the artillery exchange while I'm explaining this. If you don't support each other, this is an exchange between my howitzer, one of the Prussian howitzers, and then all the British howitzers. So in any case, you'll see the British has us heavily outgunned when it comes to artillery. So like I was saying, when it comes to teamwork, you don't want to leave a gap in between yourself. Now, because the British player had set up in this defensive formation and has to protect all of his artillery, he did not end up supporting the Spanish player like he should have. Now, he could have sent those dragoons over and stuff like that. Now, granted, they would have come face-to-face with my much better French cav, but he still should have tried, because now that the Spanish player has taken a massive beating, it's going to allow the Prussian player to hold the front of the British player while I eat up his flank. And so, and then the Prussian player, of course, brought light infantry and long-range infantry. And so this British line infantry, its only protection is from the howitzers. But the howitzers aren't focusing on the Prussian light infantry right now. They're focusing on our artillery. So right now, technically, the British player should have been focusing. We should have tried to knock out our howitzers and then immediately start going after it. I got a good hit right there in that British unit. That's probably the only good hit my artillery got, so I ended up paying a lot of money to kill like 20 men. But in any case, that's artillery for you. It's kind of a gamble. It's fun to use, and it has cool effects. And you can definitely see that we go back and forth in a pretty massive artillery exchange here. But like I said, as far as strategy goes, if you end up having to try and protect your front and your flank, you're going to end up losing. And that goes for single battles, too. Like, if your opponent starts to eat up one of your flanks, you're going to be in trouble real fast. Because taking flank fire in this time period would have been devastating, and it is devastating on the game as well. So artillery definitely has its pros, but our opponents here sacrificing light infantry and long-range infantry for more artillery was definitely a mistake. Now the Galacian Ria does have like a whole bunch of like this interesting landforms and stuff that does make light infantry a little harder to use. Definitely not good for like long-range infantry for the most part. Now I do think that some Windjägers could work wonders on this map from a good position, but in any case, definitely something you want to consider. It's kind of like the pyramids map. You got to be careful how you use your light infantry there. So the Spanish player keeps pulling back, and I just keep pulling up within range and opening up with my light infantry. And then you'll see my flanking maneuver here too. So I'm just going to keep boxing in. And if you look at the mini map up here, my teammate and I are actually all of the red on the mini map. I know it's going to seem kind of backwards because we're actually the blue right here in the power bar, but we're the red on the mini map. And so you can see that we're already starting to envelop our opponents. And once you start to get enveloped, it's going to be bad. And the Spanish player is definitely feeling the heat for not having the range on my units. He can't charge me because my line infantry will mow him down while my light infantry retreats, and he can't keep falling back because my light infantry outranges him. So he's trying to do his best to support his British teammate, but he's just in a lot of trouble, to be honest. And if he would have brought more light infantry, it would have been good. So Spanish light infantry is very cheap, and then their guerrilla light infantry, some of their guerrilla light infantry is pretty good. There's a couple of those units that are pretty darn accurate, and I want to say one of their guerrilla units has like 80 accuracy or something, something huge. But I think he spent too much money on these artillery units that don't end up being all that useful on this kind of map anyway. So he just lost another grenadier unit. He's falling back with the rest, and then the British player is going to... Now, he does have 10 units of foot, which is a lot. So he does have a lot of units, but again, he still doesn't have any range component. I do think that the British player should have turned a couple of his howitzers on me over here, and that would have put more pressure on me, and I think helped them out. But he never does turn his howitzers on me. He keeps his fire focused on the Prussian player. And I do believe this Spanish unit of guerrilla line is still back here, the Voluntarios de la Coruña, something like that. De la Coruña. So he's still got these guys back here. I'm trying to think what other units. This is my artillery unit. And I thought I had one more unit. Okay, I don't have any other units. Just my artillery units back here. But my teammate's moving his light infantry into position to start taking shots. He's got these Prussian Fusiliers are probably the best light infantry in the game, pound for pound. I do think the Cazadors are a little bit better, but when it comes to a tough faction, this makes the Prussians very tough, just because these Prussian Fusiliers are very good. Or Fusiliers, however you want to say it. I say Fusilier. I know there's different ways to say it, so... But yeah, these guys have great accuracy and reload. So yep, Prussian player's moving up. I'm still pushing the flank. The British player started to bring in a cav charge, which was pretty ill-advised, just because I'm going to retreat my line infantry, and then there my line infantry opens up and gets some good kills. Here comes his grenadier units. And this was actually somewhat effective because my line infantry did open up a little bit early, but he just doesn't have enough men here for this to be an effective grenadier charge. I do believe one of his grenadier units, and I think it's this one right here, gets to actually toss its grenades. And what's funny is you'll be surprised at how few kills they get. Now normally grenades are very devastating, and I should have run my men backwards when I saw this, but I didn't. But he doesn't end up getting all that many kills. I think he got like 2 kills out of it, and then his men just ate it and are gonna rout. And then these guys over here are gonna get chewed up too. So here's some pretty cool fighting. So air once again is going to push back the British flank even further. And here's some Spanish cav. It's coming in on my line infantry, so I form a square at the last second. And that's going to stop this, this Spanish cav. And then my Dutch Guard Lancers come in to mop up the remainder. So I've still got my Chasseurs à Cheval. There's still 30 of these guys left. Alright, so the fight continues, and again, I know this has been long, so I hope you don't mind me just recording most of this. Let's watch some more of this action. I just want to give you a bunch of, like, cool effects and stuff, because I think some of these Napoleon battles have a pretty epic feel to them. These ones that last a long time, I hope you all like these. I like these. I think they're cool. I like the ones that last a long time, just because, like I said, it kind of adds to the epic feel. They're not, like, as micro-skill based as the ones on the flatlands that are a little shorter, but I think that these are fun, too. In the last video, I kind of trashed on like playing on the grassy flatlands and stuff. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it either, or that it's like a bad way to play the game. I'm just giving my opinion on a lot of this stuff. So, in any case, there's some cool exchange going on between the British and the Prussians. And the British player, his line infantry is pretty darn good, and he's going to do pretty well. My teammate makes a few mistakes in advancing, but he does pretty well for the most part. The British line infantry is good. Definitely some of the best line on the game. And rightly so. I mean, if you consider the time period, they were probably some of the best trained and well equipped. So it makes sense. And then with the artillery support, the Prussian morale is going to suffer. But since I've got the flank wrapping up, it's definitely putting a whole lot more pressure on the British. He does not have as many troops to face off against the Prussian. And then the Prussian's kind of moving forward in waves, so that was kind of his first wave, and now he's going to move up a second round of men. And then he's also moving up a few men in this vicinity to put pressure, so that if the British and the Spanish face me, they're going to leave their flank open to the Prussians, or if they face the Prussians, they're going to leave their flank open to me. So it's pretty much a bad situation on this flank for our opponents. So my Prussian teammate takes a lot of losses, and he probably could have done a little better, but it's okay that he's doing this because he's going to end up having enough men and support to pull it off. And I think he probably knows that at this point too. He's a good teammate. Like he started chatting at me right when we came into the match and asked me, you know, what we should do to plan together, and he supported me, and I tried to support him. So I thought it turned out really good. So even though he was complete random, he was definitely a good teammate. Check out these foot guards doing what they do best. Does he have these guys on fire in advance? It almost looked like they were on fire in advance for a minute. Can't tell what they're doing. They're firing in kind of an interesting pattern. But in any case, it's probably just the terrain.
Sir! Sir! Our general is under
Oh,
attack!
yeah, I walked my general a little too close to this this horse art, and it fired some shrapnel shot that went like right over his head. So fortunately Patchy was not killed in the exchange, but it was pretty close. I want to say he gets hit with some more shrapnel shot. Yeah, right there. Check it out. So the general was like right here, and these guys got taken out, so I got pretty lucky. I just didn't lose my general right there. But I decided to go ahead and just like run forward and take out this artillery. I think my guys take a few shots at it first. Just because I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't remember that it was there, to be honest. Whoa, check out these guys getting mowed down by it. That was terrible. But I just go ahead and run them forward and get them into melee so that we can take care of business. So these Spanish artillerymen are going to die. I'm trying to think if this cav fight's taken place out here yet. I don't think it has. No, there's a cav fight that's about to take place. It's pretty interesting that I want to show you. So my opponent starts marching 2 dragoon units towards my Dutch Guard Lancers. And I want to demonstrate to you what hero Lancers can do to a kind of lower heavy cav unit. So check this out. Remember, my guys are the ones with the lances. So they just completely ate alive that dragoon unit and didn't take a single loss. It's because my guys have a much better charge. And so on their charge, they're much more effective versus cavalry. So there's 2 more dragoon units facing me down. Both of them have taken a little damage. And I feel pretty confident that my Dutch Guard Lancer can take them out, but I want to retreat a little farther away from this British infantry so that they can't support during that fight. Here I move up my light infantry in position to start taking shots on the British, and I also have a flanking contingent that's going to be moving up on the British. So I'm going to be hitting the British flank hard now to make sure that my Prussian opponent can finish the job, or Prussian teammate can finish the job. Sorry, I'm bad at that. But he's already pretty much taken care of business. His attack in waves ended up being successful, especially since he came in waves. The British player, his troops just kind of died by attrition, and all of his reinforcing troops are over here facing me. So the British player was not able to face him in waves. So my light infantry is just going to get some brutal, devastating shots on this British line. And then my line infantry is behind them, ready to start opening fire as well. You can see my men coming up and over the hill there. And let's see. Okay, yeah, I skipped this part of the cab fight, but my guys just mopped up those both of those units of dragoons for only 2 losses. And now they're going to head off for the British artillery and silence it once and for all. So I'm going to take out the British artillery, which is still causing quite a bit of damage with shrapnel shot and explosive shells. So these Dutch Guard Lancers definitely pulled their weight. These French Hero Lancer units aren't to be trifled with. They're very strong. And now sure, they can be killed just as easy with bullets as any other cav unit, but if they get into your guys, they are devastating. So... Yep, and then I love the epicness of these fights. So let's watch this. And eventually, my men start to run out of ammunition, and so I actually go into a bayonet charge here, which is pretty darn sweet, if I may say so myself. So here's some of the epic fight that's going on from the perspective of the British. And here come some of my first men in for the bayonet charge. It's some of my light infantry. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this. So that'll be fun. You'll see all my units eventually start to charge down. Because like I said, my men need to be prepared to die for Patchy at any given moment. But I love going in for bayonet charges. Sometimes I do it earlier in the battle if it makes sense, but I think bayonet charges are pretty glorious and pretty fun. And if you pull off a good bayonet charge, it can also be very devastating, especially if it's timed right. But here in a minute, all my guys are going to come crashing down off the hill into these British troops. There the Spanish general comes in a blaze of glory, and this is how the fight finishes. So the Battle of the Galacian Ria is now coming to a halt. The French and Prussian forces have proved victorious over the Spanish-British alliance. Hope you all enjoyed this. It was definitely a fun battle. Here is the results screen. I got a whole lot of kills, but of course I had a lot of light infantry, and I was in a good position to use them. If we take a look at the kills, you can see that they did a lot of it, except for my Dutch Guard Lancer. Like I said, it definitely pulled its weight, but definitely got a lot of kills with these guys. So I hope you enjoyed this fun battle. Thank you to my teammate, who was a great teammate, and thank you to our opponents for playing a fun battle. And I hope you learned a little bit something about the strategy here in Napoleon, which is, of course, you never want to leave your teammate exposed. You want to always support them, because then otherwise you're just going to end up getting wrapped up. So if you allow yourself to get double teamed, it's just going to let your opponents win that fight with more men left, and then your remaining teammate is just going to get eaten up. So if you are going to go down, you should definitely go down in a blaze of glory, like killing as many of your opponents as you possibly can. But it's best to just not get yourself in a position where you can get outflanked like that. Like I said, hope you enjoyed this, YouTube. I won't be able to make you videos necessarily this frequently, so don't get too used to it, but I will try to get you a variety of videos out. And, I'll try and get you some Follow the Samurai footage, too, when it comes out. But I can't promise, like, a whole bunch of campaign or anything right now, just because I am still very busy. But I had a chance to record these the other day, and I decided to do it for you, because I thought you'd enjoy it. So, yeah, enjoy the back-to-back videos, because it probably won't be happening all the time.